let's go, right? Let's blast off.
Yeah.
So y'all, thank you so much for being here. I am bringing this together. It's going to be a podcast, The Raw and Wild Hearts. As you know, I'm your host, Lori Reising. It's all new format. This is the Uranus Surprises. We're going IG live with this one. And I am so excited to introduce you, if you don't know her yet, our friend and most favorite, one of our most favorite astrologers, Kelsey Friza. But I feel like there's a new name we're going with that I heard. Is there a new name?
Yeah, I am going by Kelsey Isis. Really enacted the power of the goddess to come through with all of my embodiment work. Yes, absolutely. And she is the queen of heaven. So we're pulling in the star codes. And the Syrian portal was a really beautiful time to really birth this new energy that's coming through me. And I'm just so honored to share all of the divine cosmic gifts. And I love that we're doing this, that you invited me here. There's so much potency in the air right now. Ooh!
We are ready. I agree with you, Kelsey. That Syrian portal was like absolutely off the starlight hook. Like it was rebirth star energy in our souls. And I feel like as we move towards the Lionsgate portal, that was really the big activation of like the starlight body as we move into the crystalline light form, right? It's almost like the starlight inside. Yeah. Do you agree?
I totally agree. And that's what's really this expansion. I kept talking about it like, kind of like if we refer to your heart breaking, but I kept saying my heart's cracking open. And then you get that fresh, new, tender skin, right? That's like really soft and vulnerable, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's so much expansion that's happening. And that's filling with all this starlight, right? And it's going into this crystalline structure that really gets to be this fractal of unconditional love and growth within our physical body. So it's been so intense and so beautiful. Wow. Yeah. What a time to be alive, really.
Oh my gosh. Like so into it. I'm so into it. I'm just pinning a comment here.
Fabulous.
Yes. I completely resonate with everything that you just shared about that. And I just like, I'm like, where like the Lionsgate is going to be like so huge, right? Yeah. And then we have, okay, so y'all, we're here to talk deeply about this once in a lifetime, again, historical, astrological transit and aspect, which is the Uranus-Mars North Node conjunction in Taurus, which has not happened in 2,300 years. And we're going to be working with it for a good 6 months, if not 7. Would you agree, Kelsey?
I would agree. Yeah, it'll take us through the rest of this year. Absolutely.
Okay, so give us your like first, like your primal thoughts about this conjunction. What's coming through in that embodied wisdom?
Ooh, okay, so much. This has really been a portal, I feel like, to purge everything that's not in alignment. What is, and what isn't. There has been a lot of clarity gifted to us by the cosmos right now. And that's what so much of us are always looking for. Like, what decision do I make? If it's aligned and it's there and it's coming together, we've been building towards this. So the fingers have already been pointed from divinity. And that's this time to like, okay, well, this has got to clear. This has got to go. I want to reorganize this. And then we're shifting into this state of like taking that action and communicating from our heart space and really being so plugged in to what feels good in our heart that we get to take action from there, because the world doesn't look the same anymore. And the biggest download that I've been getting, like specifically yesterday and today through all of this, is the ejection from timelines. Now, we've been recoding our idea of time for a while now, right? A lot of us, especially all of that Capricornian, Saturn energy that we've had throughout the past, last year and the year before, really. But then now it's a lot of people I know are feeling like they're out of time. Now, I don't like that saying necessarily. It puts people in a lot of panic or fear, but really what that is, an expansive moment, which I was feeling downloaded today, is that it's the fact that we are dejected. We have removed ourselves from all the past timelines and our concept of what that is. So it feels really void state. It feels like, sure, we're outside of time, but it's because we've stepped into an entirely new timeline. That's that Uranian nature. That's that North Node destiny point. And that's the thing, just to break down, what does this mean? You know, Mars is the planet of action. Uranus is all ascension, surprise, like mixed up, you know, kind of where do we want to shake up our lives, and really using that energy to kind of flip things upside down and look at something from a new perspective. And then that North Node of destiny, of faded lines of what we've really come to do here on Earth this timeline. And so how do we take these actions to ground that into what Taurus really means to us? Like getting back to our roots, taking action, feeling safe to live our lives in our bodies. So how do we take consistent action? Because Taurus is slow, sure, but it's because it's actually grounding in. Like Mars and Taurus doesn't, like, that ball rolls pretty slowly down the hill, yet it is creating momentum every single time, and getting into that space to really cultivate this whole new timeline that we've never seen before really is going to take that to ground it in and make it real. So that's where we have this option of, am I going into this going, okay, I'm about to change my life. It needs some radical differences, some radical courage. We're in Sun Leo season. Like, hello, we've been given all the gifts to make this possible. And I know that some other astrologers or just people are talking about how this transit could really just bring us chaos. Well, if you're only looking from it from a space of chaos, then yeah, that's what it's going to bring you. But this is so divine. And like, I could go on and on just about the astrology for today. We have 2 yods, like fingers of God today with Venus and Mercury. I'm just like, literally all of it has been handed to us from the sky, and clearly I'm on one about it.
Yeah, we're like spirit blown, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of things that I want to say about that. Number one, I love that you brought in like that we're coming from our heart space and activation, because this is coming off of the Leo new moon, yeah, and the sun in Leo, which just trined Jupiter, right? Mm-hmm. And so we've got a lot of that heart activation, that feeling from our love frequency, and that is amazing. And I love how you're talking about grounding it in with Taurus. Because y'all, if we don't ground in the ascension, it's not going to ever change the 3D. Like our reality will never change. Like we can all be in our ascension. We can be enlightened beings and we can be like up there doing it. But we're here to do this work. We're here to change history and to rewrite the rules here. We want to live from an abundant earth, which is what we have, from a love frequency, from a unity consciousness, right? And the only way that happens is when we integrate what we're learning on a cellular level, right? Mm-hmm. In the higher frequencies and alignments, when we integrate that into the collective, for those of us that are in this consciousness, that it remains a frequency and energy for the mass consciousness to tap into, even when they don't know they're tapping in. Because remember, in our history, I was going to quote history, but it's for real, y'all. Like, we have a history. Of course. But like, if you look at our history, why is it so, I've talked about this recently, Kelsey, why is it so easy to do habits that are unhealthy? Because the mass consciousness is doing it. We just slide right in because sure, we connect into that energy. And yep, that makes it easy when a whole entire collective is doing something and has that forward momentum of that energy. Yeah. So when we do this work and raise the consciousness and then this enlightenment, the people that haven't gotten there yet, which we're all on our own journey, like, you know, fantastic and awesome for all of us. But then it starts to get easier for them to tap into this frequency of the healthier vibrations, the higher frequencies. And they're like, wait, why don't I want to do that anymore? Like I'm being pulled Absolutely. This way, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that embodiment path, which is obviously where you and I, you know, directly feel passionate about and come from and speak to, is that, you know, being in that example, right? Living that space and really honoring what that is, to share it out and radiate it, creating that, you know, ripple effect throughout the conscious collective. And it's happening, you know, on both perspectives right now, which is beautiful that, you know, we're coming together to talk about this and sharing in this space, and that everyone here is, you know, joining us in this understanding, because that's just it. We're really creating like these, you know, pathways to jump into. And there is already so many set up to live these unhealthy patterns and live in this concept of scarcity and fear and all of that. Like we know, we see it, that's why we've ejected from it. And I love, like, it speaks so much to, you know, what I started to just tap in about as well, about like kind of eradicating and jumping out of the old timelines. Like we're essentially like stepping out of the matrix, right? Like most people get that reference. And, you know, we're seeing that we're awake. We all know. We now know we're awake, and like we can't just go around like unplugging people if they're not ready yet.
Right.
And yet if they are, they get to choose in and follow then a path, because now we've established it, like, and everybody's doing it on their own journey. And the fact that it gets to be so wildly available now is such a divine gift. And the fact that we get to tap into these planetary forces that have been like working together to hold space for our ascension this whole time.
Yes.
Right? Really gets to amplify that for our own understanding. And it obviously brings us all together, and we get these aha moments of like, oh, that's why this is coming up for me right now. That's why this is clearing. Venus and Chiron squaring yesterday is clearing all those past timelines of scarcity around money and relationship, love. I'm not worthy for that. I'm not good enough. You know, like all those Chiron things have to be integrated to actually come from our heart space. And that's why it even is really resonating with me to speak from the heart, to really use the heart to go to the throat, like Venus to Mercury, then to create these expansive connections with people. And being in your most vulnerable state right now, I promise will bring you the highest alignment in what's going on and the most amount of influence, impact, higher self downloads, whatever that is for you, to bring the clarity around this almost unsettling, because it's so activating time.
I so agree with you. Y'all, tell us in the comments. Are you feeling this? Are you resonating with this vibration? Because as you were talking about the pathways, Kelsey, I got a vision of like, it was so cool. It's like the neural pathway, but I saw it in like in lights, right? And it was like this movement of lights and this flow, which, you know, as you know, any habit or ritual or even, you know, instinct that any pattern that we do every day creates our neural pathways. And so they can always be changed. Like we are so incredible at healing and changing and pivoting. We were made to do that. And there's something else that you brought up, Kelsey, that I really want to talk about, because this is what I was saying earlier when we were having the tech stuff, is I was saying, you know, a lot of astrologers are like bracing for this conjunction based on history. If we keep staying in a loop based on history, we will never create the new Earth frequency. We can't do that anymore, right?
Yes, 100%. Again, let's go back. We've got to break out of that cycle of that timeline. We are not there anymore. Like between yesterday and today, like we've been building to this, but this is literally the moment. Today is the moment where it is severed, it is divided. Like that circle is not our circle anymore. There is no more hamster wheel. That history gets to be a story that we read, and now we're creating from this new place. And that's really intense for some people to wrap their minds around, and that's okay. Yet, like, this is the moment we've all been coming to be like, okay, like when's the world going to change? Right now, today, the world just changed. Like, let's go. And we're writing this new story, creating these new history moments that we then get to reflect on, because we don't have to live to those concepts and those constructs anymore. Like, and that's the way everything has come together, and how fated today is already like broke my astrologer awareness of like, oh, well, this is based on history. Like, yeah, you can pull on some of those threads to see where this looks like this, but it with everything else that's happening, it's not the same, and they cannot be compared.
Well, right, because I love what you talked about with the vulnerability, because I've been getting Uranus epiphanies. Like, I can't keep up with it. It's like, I'm buzzing, right? And I got an epiphany yesterday that I shared about like, oh, we didn't get so hooked into TV just from the messaging, right? Like the sensationalism messaging and the hypnosis. It was because we needed to be in our vulnerable place, and TV provided that outlet when the narrative around us was telling us that that's weakness, that you'll never get security when you show your feelings, or you're in your divine feminine energies, or you like, you know, live from impulse. You have to be calculated. You have to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say crude, but you have to be ruthless in order to get ahead, right?
Yep.
So, but ourselves as humans, we need emotionality. We need to be seen, witnessed. We need to be supported in our vulnerability. So I feel like people like connected so deeply with that media because it allowed them to be in that space of like wonder and imagination and vulnerability without feeling judged or like they were going to lose their security in life. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really beautiful perspective to put on that, because it really does, you know, like lets you tap into that fairy tale idea of whatever it is, you know, like if it's comedy, romance, doesn't matter. It's something that you're not experiencing potentially in your own life or want to expand on. You can kind of go get lost in that story, you know, and it just became easier than some people reading a book that's, you know, takes way more hours than watching a movie, right? But it taps us into that idea of like, oh, I want to be there. And I don't watch a lot of, whatever media at all. Yet there are moments where I even feel that, where you're like, okay, well, I really want to watch this sappy romance because I want to tap into these heart codes and just feel. And like, you don't really have to put in any work, you know, like, because it's not your own life. You're just doing it and you're there. But using that mentality, even if it's not watching something, and our whole lives of like, okay, I just add this into my field. Like you hang out with some friends that have a really beautiful relationship and they're like the best couple that you've seen. Being with them and hanging out with them brings that love closer to you and makes it that much more real. Those are now timelines we can jump into. This is a quantum jump with this transit. And to kind of bring that in a way that I've been explaining it to a few people recently is like, so say we're here, you know, like this is your life, this is what you're doing, this is everything that you are at that moment. And then this is this like alignment right now, this triple conjunction happening to quantum jump. And like, this is where you want to be. So this timeline looks really vast, right? Yet this alignment right now, today, is bringing those two together and portaling them. So you immediately can get from where you were to where you want to be in a matter of moments. And it has no concept of linear time. And like, it's a lot, but it's this trust fall into our ascension, into our spirituality, knowing that the divine is here to manifest that for us. And all you have to do is be clear in your heart of like, this is what feels right to me. I've made space for it. Cancer season was about clearing our personal lives. And I know we all felt that. Like,
oh, did we feel it, girl? Yes, we felt that. Oh my goodness, did we feel that?
We felt that. And so, which means we all are ready, you know, like we don't have to necessarily like do a specific thing other than keep showing up. That's where that Mars divine action of being grounded and being available with this open heart is where this growth and expansion really gets to come from, right? And like, it's the safety of just opening your heart. Like that has been the biggest thing in my field with friends, clients, and everything in between, myself, like leaning into that and just, no, I'm not going to close off. I'm not going to callous to this. And then that's where all of this beauty and these gifts really get to show up. And it moves me to tears pretty much every day.
I love that. But that's where the miracles come in that we saw on the TV that like we identified with, but then we created a narrative because it was make believe that we weren't of it. It wasn't our job to do that, but it is. That's where we're at now. We are creating like full new imaginations and realities that of miracles, like literally. I feel like what you were saying. So we go through these periods like Cancer season, right? Where it's like deep, it's quiet, it's deep. You got to go through some stuff. And then we get these huge historical astrological, you know, transits because we're ready.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to tell people. Like, do not fear these big changes because we've actually ourselves have ascended. It's like we keep doing this dance with the planets where they do their job and we're like, boom. It's like this big, massive breakthrough. And then we do our job of the integration, right? And the ascension in what we can bring in through the light frequency because we're in our vulnerable place and have our cells open and trusting for it to come in. We're not resisting it. And then it becomes like every time it gets a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of these historical waves that we go through, the more that we practice this, the more buoyant we are and ready to flow with it, and then move into new history, and then create the new systems in quantum ways that doesn't take the linear timeline to make it happen.
Absolutely. That's so good. Hold on, let's integrate what you just said. Woo!
Are y'all with us? I mean,
Yeah,
are you hearing are you feeling this in the comments? Let us know how deep this energy is moving through you. Like, are you feeling it like lightning? Are you needing to take action? Are you feeling like I've got to go like shine this light out in the world? We want to know.
Because I want to know too, like how, and because there is different layers of this. Like some of it is very much like, okay, I'm ready to go. Let's make this happen. Brianna, you're a Leo. I know you're feeling this right now, girl.
Oh yeah.
So, and like the cosmos really have set it up. Like Cancer season, like you touched on, I just had this kind of like download of how the ebb and flow works of like, we're nurturing ourselves and really feeling that, creating space, like mothering our hearts, whatever we need going on in our life to lead us up to like, when we shift from Cancer into Leo season every year, it's always lit up. We always have the Syrian portal. We've got the Magdalene's feast day. You know, we've got the birth of all of the Egyptian gods show up, like portal after portal after portal. And then all these transits. And then we go into the Lion's Gate, like, hello. And then we go into eclipse season, you know, like
we're like, what?
Exactly. But then like, and so we get ready, like you said, through Cancer season to be ready for Leo, to be ready for all this energy, and then have that divine inner child returning to self moment lit up by the power of the sun, lit up by this joyful masculine in our lives. You know, no matter how you identify, like it's showing up to really like light these fires within us. And then we get to ground into Virgo and like really create more of a feminine flow and a beauty, and we get to cultivate and exactly like that and really like take all these new things into form and then balance our lives, and we get to Libra and do these things. Like we've got it figured out for us. And so being in that, and also just understanding at which part of this journey you're on right now, and like, okay, this energy is coming through me, I'm lit the fuck up, I am ready to take action right now. Or I'm like, okay, well, we just came out of a new moon, so I'm still receiving, and this energy is building inside of me, so I'm ready. These are the things that like, okay, I'm flipping the wheel over with that Uranian energy to then kick off like into this Lion's Gate. So I feel like people are kind of in both spaces.
Yeah. And I mean, what's interesting, because I was listening to some astrology about this conjunction, and they were talking about in history, because all the astrology keeps talking about the history, like let's rewrite this, let's change it, right? Yeah. But when I felt into that, it was with this conjunction, there was a lot of like takedowns of women in power. I don't know if you listened to that astrology podcast. Like Marie Antoinette was beheaded, and there were some other things.
Yes.
So I was really feeling into that. And then I did a random Uranian surprise card pull today for everybody on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And what came through was, how do we take action? And it was so interesting because it was like an old picture, like historical picture of a woman with a coin. And I immediately got the message that this is about us moving into our divine feminine energies, which are vulnerability, intuition, receptivity, right? Woo! In order to move forward with whatever it is, whatever you're going towards, right? Whether it is in your job, in your message that you're sharing, in your higher dimensional self, in your alignment, in your ascension, in your relationships, whatever it is, it showed me it's not necessarily about money. This could be about a woman coming into your life and showering you with financial gifts, which is amazing. We love that too. But it really spoke to me that it's like, it's not the beheading of women or the takedown of women. This is actually, it's like, it was, and what I'm getting right now in that history was the divine feminine coming out, and the culture reacted in stop that. And that power, because history, they could feel the power.
Yeah. And now we're going into some balance with her story and like really creating those into this new story, right? To cultivate from that space and being in that more yin energy. It's interesting. I have the card here somewhere. I also pulled cards for August. And they're right here. So I also got the yin card, which is all about divine feminine surrender, like intuition, spirituality, receptivity, like having that balance within our lives right now really gets to just even out where we have been and what we're coming out of, right? And really igniting that. And again, staying in this open heart. Venus is the energy that will pull us through anything that's going on right now. Like, I know all of these transits are really intense, but the way Venus is positioned and where she is in Cancer right now and doing all of that, like that is that divine mother feminine energy to really carry us through. So if there are moments where this is like tricky, or it feels like, holy crap, I split off of this timeline and now what? Like tapping into that feminine again, keeping your heart open, being soft, receptive, and vulnerable, communicating from that vulnerability. I know we've both talked about it a couple times now, but it's so important to be able to just use our words and express, take up space, like releasing the idea of fear around, well, how am I going to be received, which is a big feminine aspect, whether you're masculine or feminine, you know, like that gets to be put, you know, it's been put down again, like beheaded. You can't make noise anymore. Like, hello, we are rewriting a lot of that right now. See, Laura, isn't the numerology of the number feminine this year? Yes, with the 22, it absolutely is. And I've been calling it a lot of times of the year of the, like the Magdalena, you know, like her number has been 22, and just, that's just divine feminine energy. You know, it's not just, she doesn't show up just as the Magdalene, you know, that's a whole line of divine feminine energy that has come through time and space to really honor this feminine, nurtured, mothering aspect that gets to, you know, we get to share with the world, but also is held with, we're held by within the universe and the collective as we're making this ascension.
Yes. And I love that you brought that in. So, you know, if this energy is too much at any point, tap into that Venus in Cancer, because Venus is really happy in Cancer, right?
Yep. Yep.
And so that's a wonderful support to know that's there, to bring yourself back. And y'all, I just have to say, I love that enlightenment that just came through as we were exchanging, where I was like, whoa, it wasn't about the beheading. It was about the divine feminine breaking through, and the culture couldn't, they were like, they stopped it, right? They like cut it off, because remember all of this energy, we've got Uranus, we've got Mars, we've got our destiny of the North Node, we've got Taurus, and then of course we've got Leo season. So you've got to think about, like, that's a lot of really powerful energy right now. And it can feel like you've drank 20 pots of coffee, right?
Yeah. And Chiron and Aries, like, hello.
Yeah,
that is
right?
So big for our clearing right now. I got a little close. I'm plugging in my phone just to make sure. Okay. Yeah, like what is going on that's setting ablaze everything that we want to learn, we want to heal through, like what we've got to cut off so we're not like sacrificing ourselves anymore, comes from this deep fiery energy to ground it into this new timeline, this new pathway, this something that we've never experienced before. And we're being the way showers, we're blazing the new path, literally fire into earth. Like that's what is happening here. And it gets to be exciting. It gets to feel intense and beautiful and invigorating and all of that. And so like coming into that passionate, you know, water, Venus and Cancer helps to like soothe some of that, and also know where we get to nurture ourselves when, okay, like I need to take a deep breath right now. Okay, I'm ready for the next step. You know, like that moment, it gets to come in and divinely support us.
Yeah, we get to be in the ebb and flow, right? Like allow yourself, you don't have to just be in the flow. You can be in the ebb too, right? You can come back, regroup, recenter, come back out, you know, tap into what's coming in. And it's funny, as you were saying that about fire into earth, I got a vision of fire walking, and then I see someone wrote, what do you suggest I can do to further help ground in this energy?
I love that. Firewalk. Yes, queen.
Firewalk with a nice, beautiful ice bath right at the end. But you know what I'm going to be for real right now about a suggestion based on what we just talked about, which would be, this is my favorite way to recalibrate the nervous system, move the lymph flow. It's probably the thing that I have used throughout my entire life to keep myself in that nervous system, like goodness and balance, which is taking a really hot bath, cleansing bath, right? Your ritual to really connect in whatever way that happens for you in the water. And then you take a cold shower afterwards. It's such a good reset. Some people just go right into a cold tub. I actually like the flow of the hot and the cold, the yin and the yang moving through. Like, I like that energy flow through me. Do you do it as well, Kelsey?
I do. I absolutely do. I really like that. Like, there's a detox bath recipe that I should share on my story too, and I'll tag you in it. That adds like ginger and things in there too, so it's like really purifying and takes everything out. And then taking that just like cold shower, because you're literally then washing it away, and I get to like send it down the drain, and I send the energy through. And like, I've always thought showers are like waterfalls, and I'm obsessed. So like, it's really one of my like divine just energetic works that I like to step into, and like clearing that energy. And then you're really like holding yourself in that strength and like taking that power and really like finding that masculine, feminine, ebb and flow edge, just like you said. So thank you for adding that. I think it's a wonderful recommendation.
And that waterfall cleanses your crown chakra.
Yes.
Like, I always, when I'm doing that, I'll literally be under the cold water for like 5 minutes, and I'll feel my connection. I'll feel that pillar of light move up into my higher self, into the higher dimensions. Like, literally, because I'm connecting deeply through the bath. Like, that is my channeling time. So it's just such a beautiful, and not only that, but let's talk about the physical integration of it. This literally is one of the best immune boosters you can have. It moves your lymph flow. It creates like flow, and it decreases stagnation. So this is a holistic approach, and I love it so much. So what do you think about like the house placements, and even we've got cardinal and a lot of fixed energy here too. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. So for it to come for full circle moment, again, for us to be exiting this wheel of time, right? Like we've already touched on that. And then for the houses to really show up to support that, where it's dealing directly with us coming into our sovereignty, you know, like who we are, who we identify as, and then our personal relationships, who other people are in our life, how we're connecting to that, and then expanding it to that entire collective. So finding out who we are and who's there to actually fully support and stand next to us, because we've been calling that in for a while, and that's what the houses are really showing right now. And then you get that 12th house energy of connecting on that spiritual level to expand outside of consciousness. Like, that to me feels such an comes into alignment with us connecting to even galactic forces, like our full intergalactic family and support, and this ascension, and how those two things get to work together. And like, there is nothing in our way from connecting who we are right now in this physical realm to the spiritual being that we already are and possess. Like, that coming back to remembrance, to complete that cycle, to integrate fully, like, that is so divine right now. And I really feel that that's why these things have shown up, to be in these specific places, to create this trajectory, again, that like folding of time, so that we can accelerate and integrate what that means on a fuller level. Excuse me. Water. I'm so thirsty. Also drink water, y'all.
Yes. Hydrate so much. I can't get enough. I'm loving it so much.
Neither can I. I was like, this cup is too small. It could be like 3 times this size right now.
Go big. Mars, go big. Jupiter, go big.
Exactly.
I love that you just said that about the galactic, because I really felt like that the Syrian portal was a galactic rebirth. Absolutely. Right? And then as we move into the Lionsgate portal, it feels like a light rebirth. Right? Like, it's almost like I don't want to combine the two, even though they're of the same realm.
They are. Yeah, I feel the energy is peaking out in a totally different way, especially this year. Because like, we've opened it, and obviously the Syrian portal goes to like the 12th, and the Lionsgate gets to be that peak. But it really does also feel like, all I can see right now is also that, oh wait, I have so many visions at this moment. Woo, cool.
Thank you, Uranus.
Right, exactly. The like fire and water energy that we were talking about, lots of oranges and blues. So like, that Lionsgate feels like that fiery, lit up, kind of like star glowing, activated, illuminated force. But this galactic energy is like deep, cosmic, womb energy, that more feminine, masculine, right? Like that.
Yeah.
So like that integration. So we're getting like this prep work to go. It feels like a mountain to me, you know, like, and then this Lion's Gate, like, ha ha ha, pyramid. It's a pyramid. Thank you. Okay, I hear you. They're like, girl, a mountain, come on. And then like we have an integration period, even like coming off of the Lion's Gate up until the 12th, you know. So we're in that Sirian portal, which will integrate this moment of time that's coming through to really blast us into this, again, like star being light, like you referred to. Like I see that, I feel it so palpably in my body.
Yeah, you just explained that beautifully. Absolutely. The Syrian gate was like blue, cosmic. It was like yin, and the Lion's Gate is like sun, light, yellow, orange, fire. I totally agree with that. I love that so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so good. And I guess I brought up the cards a little bit. So like my cards that I pulled, we'll just share the other one that came through. So I got like the 2 blue cards that I got were Insight, which is like this cosmic wizard writing stars from the sky, like star crafting, the whole thing. And then the Yin card showed you, obviously, both blue cards. And then the Isis wisdom card that came through is Carnelian, the Temple of Sekhmet, which is all orange in a blaze. And she came through in the middle. So it literally even created this color scheme. And I pulled this Wheel of the Year months ago, and then it's like integrating right now, and I was really tapping into those and being like, wow, this energy is so significant right now. And then it just came to full circle, like fruition, aha moment, like in this call with you right now. So like I'm really grateful for that, and I love that it gets to be part of this collective share, that it was more than just my own reading, that it was available to be part of this so that I could share it with all of us.
Whew. Right, that's what happens. And that is the energy, because we can connect together all over the world in all of the acupuncture points, and we tap into a frequency that is so powerful from our sovereignty, right?
Yes.
So that's where we come together in this sacred space. Now we bring these beautiful pillars of light, right, that we are, and we bring them together. And when we bring them together, that's like, it's like, ah, you know what I mean? And that's where we get to tap into the frequency, and we get so many downloads, so many messages, and then we come back and we make that integration, right? And I just got a vision when I was thinking of integration to share with everybody. Like right now, have your journal. My journal has been my notes pad in my phone. I use my notes a lot, right? I love that you have the hardcore real thing. Here. But I've been, you know, I'm on that app all the time, like just putting these downloads in, y'all. So however you're sharing your message, it doesn't have to be the way you make money. And if it is, fantastic. But however you're sharing your medicine, like take the time as the downloads come in to release them, so that you don't have to like stay in that energy, so that you're available for the next one to come in. And then you can come back to it, right? Yes, and then someone in the comments here asked about if you have any suggestions for crystals. Like I was like, I love crystals. That was my answer. But then tourmaline came to mind. I mean, I always love me some selenite wands if you're going to get into the light. But do you have any suggestions, Kelsey?
So, okay. So, I mean, selenite, absolutely, for this time of the year. I always recommend it for bringing in this light, and it helps you hold it. It amplifies that. Just clear crystal quartz also is a great place you can deposit extra energy that's coming through you as you're bringing in these downloads, or like say you're journaling or writing, you know, notes on your phone or something like that. If you want to hold a piece or like set it in your lap, because like a lot of that will help to ground through just and hold the codes for you. Black tourmaline, 100%, like brown, whatever, but like something grounding through this time, I feel like is also very significant. So I definitely agree with you there. And then bringing in some of these more deeper, darker, like the lapis, pyrite, things like that, to really hold on this kind of cosmic side. And that celestite, so good. And then this fiery energy, carnelian, like this is the Temple of Carnelian moment right now, like with that fiery energy. And then citrine, like real citrine, is one of my favorite crystals ever, but definitely for this time of the year, I usually wear a lot of it, and I wear a lot of yellow and like call that in. And amber also, because amber is really like tapped into that warm, but it's so of the earth. It's very grounding and calming as well. So those are definitely the ones that are channeling through to use at this moment to help.
Yeah, y'all, like crystal your body up. You know
ripping it.
I just got this beautiful vision of us all walking around with like crystals just hanging off of our body. That's so good. So I feel like a big significant energy in this conjunction also is it's like giving us this ability to break through limitations, right? And I know that you've said that in so many ways, and how like we're not in old timelines anymore. Like we're in a whole new like space. We're in a whole new world. We're in a whole new energy and frequency. But it also, it's like as these Uranian strikes come through, it's like this release of energy. If you allow it to come through and do its job without like creating, you know what I mean? Like stopping it from the intensity, right? So if you can allow it to come through and do its job, like what I see is this wall that we can have around us that's been resurrected, you know, from the conditioning and the programming and like the intensity of what we've all been through. I mean, let's be real, in the last few years, there's a lot that we have all gone through. But it feels like this ability to just kind of like, I see it hitting it, striking it, and it just shattering.
Yeah.
Do you feel that energy as well?
I do. And like mine almost saw as it kind of like vaporizes, you know,
Yeah.
like that moment where it just like it just goes. It does not exist anymore. There isn't even like that vaporizing, because like there's no remnants of it even, you know, like it's just time for it to leave your life and really move with that energy. And I feel that somebody else feel that it's melting away. Absolutely. And so I really appreciate you bringing that into the field, because that's even that feeling of that open heart that I was mentioning before is, you know, not callousing over, like really going to your edge, knowing it will melt, sink into it, you know,
trusting that.
So much trust. That's the trust fall, baby. Yes. You know, so like as we go into it and you're like, okay, this is intense, but feeling it, stop numbing out is the big thing. Like, especially these two yads happening today with Pluto and Neptune, and like Neptune being in retrograde, like it took the numbing off. And so a lot of people are deciding not to numb themselves out by, you know, and that could be in physical ways of like, I'm not going to watch as much TV, or I'm not going to eat really junk food, or I'm not going to do drugs anymore or drink, you know, like it could be a lot of those things of like, oh, I don't want to not feel this. I want to know how to open my heart, because I didn't even know that I was coming from this place of being so closed off, and I didn't have the capacity. Like I've talked to plenty of clients where they're like, holy crap, like now that I've stepped into this heart awareness, I want to feel these things, even though, again, like to reference that whole cracking open tender skin, like it's real soft, you know, baby's got that soft spot on their head and you're like, don't touch it yet, because it's still forming and creating, but it's because we're expanding, right? Well, we're expanding here now. And we like, that's why having people that support you and being around and really honoring and nurturing yourself and being in that space is so important, because we're creating all of these new stories. We're nurturing our inner child rebirthed into this moment. Like this Lionsgate, I feel like is like, we're all being born again. We're all fucking babies being like, woo, okay, I'm here. I'm so excited. New little star beings.
Star being babies all over the place. I love that. I love that so much, because, you know, it's like we're getting the energy of the courage to take those steps, to have that trust. It's like, if you look at all the different energies coming in, especially that Mars is giving us the courage to feel good in the simplicity, right? We don't have to make it complex anymore. Like we can just be fully in that emotion or that feeling, and it's okay. And we're going to thrive on the other side, right? Instead, we were like holding it in place and just surviving, like keeping it in ourselves. And so that we didn't have to go through the full breakthrough. But it's where the full breakthrough is where I love this. I love where it's going. The full breakthrough is where that evaporation happens. Because I think that was, it felt really significant that you said that there's no more remnants. Because if there's remnants around, if we're still holding some cords to, you know, these connections, then those walls can come right back up. They can get resurrected again. But when we like bust through into a whole new timeline, timeline, right? Or no timelines, or, you know, into this new spiral space, then there's not even the possibility of those walls coming, because we're now spiral. And the vision I'm getting, it's just, you know, when you see all those dust particles just like moving around, and it's like this beautiful dance all around. That's what I'm feeling in this energy. So thank you so much for taking us through that journey. It feels really, really good and divine.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yes. It's actually just talking to a dear friend of mine, and he has like this laser light, and when it hits water vapor, it does that same thing where the particles are dancing around each other. And it's that same, like I saw that same vision in what you were just explaining, and we're creating from that new space of like all of our stardust mixed into like this one whole, but it's all new, and it gets to collect this new space and shape and dance that flows through it and rewrite this, because again, we're not pulling any of those past pieces anymore. Again, vaporized, like they're out of here, baby. And I see that there's a comment even in here, like setting up boundaries. Boundaries are so significant right now, and they nurture us. Boundaries are sexy. Like, let's please go into how divinely beautiful they are, and like honoring that within ourselves. And also she adds that I quit smoking weed. Again, lots of people are not wanting to numb out in that same way anymore. And nothing against plant medicine if it works for you, yet like there is a balance of where you're showing up for yourself and your intention behind what you're doing, no matter what it is. And that has been such a gift in this transit right now, to be like, okay, this is what I need to stay clear, to connect to my channel, to get the downloads that I am ready and willing to receive, and really show up for myself.
Yes. And I love this. Megan just posted last night. I posted a video of dust particles in the sunlight looking rainbow sparkly. That's it. Y'all, we are always connecting. Like, we are always in this frequency together. And as you were talking about that, I had posted a jar with nettles like moving around in a spiral, right? That was a reel that I just posted. So I'm just going to say, for integration, because you and I are both embodiment guides, like, use that in your meditation. You can find something online, or you can create something, get into your creation energy and create it in front of you, and just like let yourself get lost in that spiral. And then the other thought, or the vision that came to me as you were talking about boundaries being sexy. Yes. What I saw us, or people, or who, you know, whoever's energy was in that for you. I saw them as this spiral, and as they continue to like get strong in their spiral, the boundaries are just automatic. It's like the excess just like falls away, and it becomes easier. It's like we don't have to become so assertive. And if that's the beginning, fantastic. But then the more we go into this spiral dimension, it's like our frequency just kind of like dusts off what's not, you know, in alignment for where we're going, because we're in such a big energy that we don't have time. You know what I mean? It's like when your belief system moves into these spaces of like what you truly are available for, and what your alignment is like open in, the rest of it does start to fall away. Absolutely. And especially as you know, create that and build that, it just keeps building on itself. You agree? Yeah, I do. It's that frequency match, right? We as we become separated from the things we're no longer available for, you don't really have to set a boundary anymore. They don't attract you. The magnet does not work. So, you know, as you're collecting this beautiful magnetic field of all the things you do want to cultivate and add it into your life, you know, like that's where, again, you don't have to be in this assertion, you know, very like domineering, like this is my boundary. You know, like the walls aren't hard. They just exist. And the rest of the things just don't show up as much anymore. And as you lean into a new boundary, you get to meet it with vulnerability. You get to meet it with softness. You get to actually address the polarity and see where it works in a level to work with everyone that's around you, which means everybody's just being heard and feeling expressed and seen, which means the boundaries don't have to be really like anymore. Right. And that's such a gift of
all of this that's happening for us now, this massive awakening that we're having as a community aspect, because I get to see and respect where you are, meet you with unconditional love, which is going to get returned to me. And then we're in this state of alignment and like, okay, this is what I'm available for. If you communicate that from the very beginning, then it doesn't have to be harsh, because everybody's like, okay, I hear you, I understand. And if they don't, then that's it. That's where it got brushed off, right?
Yes. Thank you, Brianna. We are so happy you were here with us. It was fantastic. Everyone that came to this live, you had a purpose, you had an energy and a frequency to share with us. I just want to tell you that it's very important, because we are dropping all kinds of frequency and light energy into the grid and into the collective right now. This is rippling out. And so you were just talking, I love that you brought in our magnetization, because it's like the magnets lose their charge, right? And then your magnet gets a stronger charge for where you're moving in that spiral, right? In that frequency. Absolutely. And then it's like having the trust in that is really beautiful. I find, I think about, like, my life has gotten so much easier. The drama is just gone, because that charge has been deactivated. Absolutely. As I've continued, right? You
yes,
with me?
100% has happened for me too. And I'm so grateful for it. Every day I cry to the mountains and just like bless the cosmic connection that is, because showing up in that way has absolutely created so much beauty and magnetism for amazingness and support and love and polarity and expansion and beauty in my life, that I'm just like, wow, really, I don't have the drama. I don't have the BS to complain about. Like, that is, it's just not there. And that's not been the case for most of our lives, obviously. And so showing up and just really softening and being in that gratitude and knowing, like, I am magnetic when I'm in play. And it might show up, obviously, for all of us slightly differently. But, you know, being on a pleasure embodiment path for me is where I create so much magnetism. And I notice when I'm hardcore, like in my analytical side, softening into that awareness of like, okay, this is where I can magnetize more abundance in my life, or just ease, flow, whatever it is. And then watching that happen really quickly is so divine. And I'm so, so grateful for it. I'm glad you're feeling it too. I hope we're all feeling it in this moment.
Right.
You know, just showing up.
Yeah. Also being in the timelessness of this journey. Yeah. Because, you know, as we talk about it, like, it's not always been easy, but yet when you're doing something that's in alignment, when you're taking aligned action, even when we don't deem it as like what we know is easy, you love doing it, right? Because you feel the results, you feel the benefits, you feel the evolution, even in the shadow, even in the growth. Because like what we talked about in that Cancer period, like for me, it went pretty deep for me, right? Yeah. And then I know, like, I trust these fluctuations. I know that we're in this co-creation and this dance and this beautiful, beautiful way. And that's why I keep showing up. Right. And I feel like this Uranus conjunction, I feel like a lot of you, if you're listening at any point, this is your moment. You are going to show up in new ways beginning now. Beginning yesterday, beginning tonight. Like, I feel it happening. And that's what Kelsey and I really did. Y'all, literally, I just sent her a message yesterday. I was like, I want to talk about this. I want to go IG live. I never do IG live. I want to do this with you. Like, I knew it was going to be fully elevated, and we were going to throw out a ton of light frequency into this collective, which we did. And so I feel like we're probably wrapping up now, but I just want to say, Kelsey, like, from my heart activation to yours and to everyone that joined us, this has been like, I haven't felt this jazzed up and excited. Like, I'm getting like body chills. I'm getting it.
Me too.
So thank you so much for creating this space and this energy for us all.
Thank you. It has been such a deep honor. I appreciate you listening to your intuition and reaching out, because I have really wanted to be in this energy and show up. And then there you were, you know, and that's a beautiful part of the alignment, is that like it just felt right. You throw it out as an idea to the universe and bam, like it doesn't even need it to be totally initiated by me, but you felt the call, reached out, and we got to share this magic together. And I am so lit up about it. Like, let's keep doing this because this is fun. And the transits aren't necessarily like stopping, y'all. So we'll definitely have some more light codes to share, because I really do love this exchange, and I'm so happy that all of you are appreciating it and like commenting that it meant something and it really resonates with you. Like, this is such a beautiful time, and I'm so happy to share. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me, Lori. I'm so grateful.
I think we should do like a monthly.
That would be great. Let's do it.
I would love it. I'm so in. Just, you know, let everybody know right now, what do you have going on? Like, how can people work with you? How can they get a hold of you?
Thank you. Yeah. So
how can they be in the Kelsey energy?
Yeah, the Kelsey energy. It's expanding so much right now. So thank you for opening up that container. I have astrology readings available and my one-on-one embodiment coaching. I'm creating a couple courses right now as well. I also, which will be a new drop that everybody's going to get a little tidbit here, I am opening up an astrology circle. So it'll be a monthly collective for everyone to come together where I'll create, talk about the astrology, have like live Zoom call, the calendar, the whole thing. And I want to do like bigger activation kind of moments when there's big transits throughout the month. So like this one kind of thing where we would do like a talk, that all of that. So that information will be coming soon. You can reach me through my Instagram here at Mermoonmaid. I also have the Golden Rose Code site. You can reach me through both. And I have a website, so I have my whole link tree, that kind of thing. Just send me a message. Feel free to follow me. I'm starting at my 1-800-Goddess again, which I'm also so excited for. I just took a poll. It'll be probably Tuesday evenings. And yeah, like just having conversations like this. I would love to have you on one if we want to chat about what's going on at some point as well. Thank you. I'm just excited to be here and part of the community and really sharing from this new grounded space with all of this like crazy collective cosmic energy, and like having that both and really show up in our lives and just be here as a guide. It's beautiful.
Yes, I love it. Y'all, what you just heard come out of her field is exactly this energy. We are all feeling lit up. If you are consciously working with these transits and these astrologies, if you're connecting in, it's like, it's coming so fast, your physical body can't keep up, right? And so it's like when you heard her say, I've got digital courses, I'm doing this, I've got the goddess call, this is what I'm feeling as well. So whoever you're connecting with, and if you're sharing your medicine, move forward. We need it. We need you, because the quicker we keep this frequency building, the quicker the quantum shifts are going to happen on the 3D level, y'all. We are the gatekeepers. We are the light line holders. And, you know, we're ushering a new earth rebirth in. So we need all of you in this new energy to release what feels right for you, because we're ready for it. We're ready for all of the inner healer and medicine that is coming up so deeply. So y'all stay tuned to Kelsey and I think we're gonna, I'm hoping that the energy is there, that we come back monthly, because she gets me wildly excited, if you can't tell.
Thank you.
It's like the energy
is just mutual,
like fire.
sister. So
I feel fire in me as soon as I get into like connection with you. And so, and I feel like as embodiment guides, it's important for us to share so much about the integration, because without the integration, it goes in a different direction, and we need the integration. That is key here. So again, yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Kelsey. The replay on this is going to be up right away, and I'm going to tag Kelsey in it. Yay. And share it with your friends. Share this with your communities. If you felt the high frequency and vibration, share it loud and proud, because you all contributed to the energy that we felt and we emanated up here. So
absolutely. That's creating that ripple effect, that magnetism. We're all sharing it collectively. Yay! Thank you.
And so until next time, Kelsey and I have a hard time hanging up. If you can't tell, we really like to stay in the energy. But until next time, do not forget to keep looking up, because there's all kinds of cosmic activity happening in the sky, and it's waiting for you to connect. All right, y'all. Mwah! Peace and love. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Cheers. Thank you.